Liverpool 2, Chelsea 2. Liverpool win on penalties in the European Super Cup final, a tactical analysis, and 6 things we learnt from this game. Before the video starts, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you don't miss out on any of the tactical analysis, scout reports or fantasy football videos coming up over the next few weeks, and give this video a like if you enjoy it. I've also put a quiz question in the comment section below, just go down there and see if you can get the answer right. After I've done a tactical analysis of the game, I'll be laying out 6 things that we learnt from this game and suggest the impact that I think this game will have on both managers throughout the season. Lampard changed system from Sunday's 4-0 loss at Manchester United where he played a 4-2-3-1 by going with a 4-3-2-1 system with the wide players moving in narrow positions behind Giroud. Chelsea didn't press Liverpool extremely aggressively from their build-up, instead they sat deep in a compact 4-5-1 and allowed Van Dijk and Matip to have the ball. In the first 15 minutes of the game, Liverpool had joy down the right side when spreading the ball out to Salah, who stayed wide and dropped deep, pulling Emerson in with him and allowing space to be created between him and Zuma. Henderson would be positioned high in behind Kovacic when the Serb moved to press Liverpool's right side, and when Salah received the ball he'd knock a pass into the space behind Emerson that had been left for Henderson to run into, which created a situation where Zuma would have to move out of position to close down Henderson. Lampard, to his credit, saw this slight flaw in his pressing system, so instead of Kovacic moving forward from the midfield 5 to press Matip, Pulisic would sit narrower and perform this duty instead, allowing Kovacic to sit deeper and stop this space being created in behind him, which in turn forced Henderson to move into a deeper position to receive the ball. On the right side, with Milner not moving ahead of the Chelsea midfield as Henderson was doing, Kante was able to move out of the midfield 5 to apply the pressure when Liverpool switched the play onto their left side. This resulted in a couple of turnovers where Matip or Fabinho played a sloppy ball over to Milner or Van Dijk, which allowed Kante to do what he is great at, anticipate the pass and use his explosive acceleration to make the interception and win the ball high up the pitch. Chelsea looked dangerous when they won the ball in Liverpool's half, and this was because Pedro and Pulisic would sit in narrow positions without the ball, waiting to apply the pressure to Liverpool's central players. When they won the ball back, they were ahead of Liverpool's midfield and could use their dribbling ability to drive at Matip and Van Dijk and commit the Liverpool defenders. It was from this sort of position where Chelsea had a lot of good opportunities, including Pedro hitting the bar and Pulisic's shot across goal. When Klopp's side had the ball in the centre of the pitch, Henderson and Milner would sit unusually deep and wide in a horizontal line with Fabinho. The purpose behind this was to allow Gomez and Robertson to move further forward and attempt to push Pulisic and Pedro back into wide defensive positions. The other reason behind this was to encourage Kante and Kovacic to move out of the midfield line to put pressure on Henderson and Milner so that the ball could be shifted out to the fullback and then played into the space behind Chelsea's wide central midfielder so that Salah or Oxlade-Chamberlain could get on the ball in the half space. Despite this tactical manoeuvre, Milner and Henderson don't have the vision or incisive passing ability to make these passes often enough, so often over-reliant on the fullbacks playing the pass, which made it easier for Chelsea to readjust and cut off the passing lanes. Liverpool pressed Chelsea in a narrow 4-3-3 with the front 3 horizontally in line with each other. This was in an attempt to congest the centre of the park to stop Jorginho and Kovacic getting on the ball and force Chelsea to play lofted passes out to the fullbacks. Chelsea nullified Liverpool's press by playing direct balls up to Giroud and Pedro, who when the balls were good enough were excellent at bringing the ball down and allowing Chelsea to gain possession high up the pitch. Jorginho was responsible for a number of these long passes, and Klopp realised this, which is why around the 30-minute mark he moved Fabinho ahead of Milner and Henderson in the press to be the midfielder who applied the pressure to the Italian to stop him turning out and transitioning the Chelsea build-up with his long passing ability. In the first half, Pulisic was a standout player, showing he has the dribbling ability and interplay to fill Hazard's void, being Chelsea's most dangerous outlet in the forward line. Pedro also had a very good first half, with his ability to receive the ball in congested zones, pick a pass to advance the play forward, and even creating chances by threading the ball through the back line, all being very impressive. Giroud's goal to give Chelsea the lead came from Kante's energy in midfield to make an explosive dribble, opening up the Liverpool midfield and then Christian Pulisic's narrow positioning, giving him the opportunity to thread a ball through to Giroud. In the second half, Firmino being brought on made a massive difference. Unlike Mane or Oxlade-Chamberlain, Firmino has the awareness to drop into the spaces so that direct balls can be played into his feet from deep, and also the ability to receive the ball, turn out and advance the attack further with a forward pass. Even though this is a simple enough task, Firmino is one of the best at playing that false 9 role, and his ability to do this allowed Salah and Mane to receive the ball higher up the pitch and isolate the Chelsea defenders in one-on-one situations. After Liverpool got the equaliser, they began to dominate possession in the centre of the park, with Matip and Fabinho and Van Dijk easily playing around Giroud to get into the Chelsea half. To stop this, Lampard used Kovacic as the press instigator. Giroud would move slightly to Chelsea's right when out of possession, and when Liverpool shifted the ball across to Matip, Kovacic would move out the midfield 5 and apply the pressure to stop Matip moving forward with the ball and being able to play the pass into Fabinho. When he did this, Jorginho would move forward from his deeper position to man-to-man press the right-sided central midfielder, which was Henderson and then Wijnaldum, which meant that Chelsea were essentially pressing in a 4-4-2, though would drop back into a 4-5-1 when Liverpool were able to play into the Chelsea half. Jorginho was Chelsea's creative outlet from that deep line playmaker position, threading balls through in behind the Liverpool backline for the likes of Pedro, Mason Mount and Giroud. Liverpool lacked the ability to advance a play down the right side without Alexander-Arnold there, but when he did come on they looked a lot more threatening from that right side. The game went to extra time and Sadio Mane's superb first time finish from a Firmino cutback was cancelled out by Jorginho's penalty, before the game went to penalties and Tammy Abraham's penalty was saved by Adrian to make Liverpool the European Super Cup winners. So what are the 6 things that we learnt from this game? Well, the first and most obvious thing that we learnt was that Kante is a must in the Chelsea midfield. Without the Frenchman in the midfield against Manchester United, Chelsea lacked the tenacity, anticipation and athleticism in the centre of midfield to apply a high aggressive press or even just win the ball back in the centre of the park and then be able to transition the attack quickly. Kante did this a number of times, and even on the ball, his explosive dribbling ability was a major reason why Chelsea were able to transition the ball into the final third for Pulisic and Pedro. The second thing we learnt was that Trent Alexander-Arnold not being in the side is a major loss for Liverpool, especially on the right side in terms of their offensive ability, with Joe Gomez being a very solid defender but he doesn't have the same dribbling or crossing ability that Arnold has, and therefore when Liverpool do move the ball out to that right hand side it's easier for the opposition to defend because they don't have to worry about Arnold's passing range or creativity. The third thing we learnt was that Chelsea are more suited to a 4-3-2-1 system than the 4-2-3-1 that Lampard played against Manchester United. This is because it gives them more defensive security in the centre of midfield, allowing Jorginho to play in a single pivot behind 2 more creative players or more athletic players with Kante on the right and Kovacic on the left. This really brought the best out of Jorginho, allowing him to dictate the play from deep, being Chelsea's most creative player. The fourth thing we learnt is that Giroud may be a better option in big games to play up front by himself than Tammy Abraham. He's got a lot better interplay with the likes of Pulisic and Pedro than Abraham has, and Chelsea can play direct balls up to him, Giroud can bring the ball down and bring other Chelsea players into play, which is essential when playing up against the side like Liverpool who like to press you high. The fifth thing we learnt is that if there's one fault in this Liverpool starting 11 is their creativity from midfielders such as Henderson and Milner, basically the wide midfielders who play either side of Fabinho. In this game, Henderson and Milner struggled to play them incisive passes into Salah and Mane, and this could mean that Naby Keita comes into the side in one of those positions, because at RB Leipzig he was phenomenal at advancing the play via dribbles or playing incisive passes into the forward line. And the sixth thing that we learnt was that Pedro and Pulisic should be Chelsea's starting wide attackers in this formation certainly. Both have the necessary dribbling ability, into playing congested areas, and off the ball movement to play alongside Giroud or any other deep lying forward. This game could mean that Lampard does make the 4-3-2-1 system his predominant system at Chelsea, and it could also mean that Klopp may look to strengthen in those fullback positions, particularly in the right back area, also in the left back area, for an attacking fullback who can do the same role that Arnold and Robertson can. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and check out the quiz question in the comment section below.